Hey, you know how you're awesome? Well, why don't you continue being awesome by checking out my podcast, Waffle Box? Because why the fuck not? I don't know what I'm doing with that hammer. Crazy.
Hey, what's good, y'all? Kush Hayes here. Just before we get into the episode, fellas, ladies, everybody else, I bit off a little more than I could chew this week, and I'm just tired. So glad we got this microdose in. I did nearly no editing to it. Just slapped some music cues on it, slapped the end bumper, and there we go. So all the ums and uhs are in there. There might be a couple of awkward pauses that are longer than normal. This is it. This is what you're getting this week. Sorry about that. I normally like to give you much better, but I'm burnt, and my week still isn't over. So hopefully things will simmer down in a little bit. But yo, thank you for tuning in. Plugs up front. Check out the Waffle Box podcast every Wednesday on all the normal platforms with Mike Fish and myself. Sweet Science Cinema with Jameel Hemphill. We just dropped Undisputed 2 days before this podcast. The Kick-Ass Movie Podcast. You can currently check out everything in its catalog, plus The Perfect Weapon. Our next episode should be in September, and it will be Undisputed 2 with the aforementioned Jameel Hemphill. Kush and Kai, 57 just dropped. Cutthroat Island. When the next episode is, TBD. Life gets in the way, guys. That's just how these things go. Polite Beer Expressions. Those are all currently up on the BosNet.family. New edition coming in August 19th. Those will be a Thursday from now on. And then movie reviews every Friday as they come in. We will hopefully have something for Jungle Cruise and or The Green Knight this weekend. Again, like I said, busy times, folks. Thanks for being a part of the family. We hope you're having a great time. Tell all your friends, like, subscribe, etc., etc. You know the deal. You've been through these before. Let's get into that microdose now.
Microdose, yeah, microdose. Hosted by Kush Hayes and Robin said, oh, talking the talk, cause they got things for you to know. Let's go party with Miss Robin in the games on Cameo, yeah. Microdose, microdose, dose, dose. Microdose, microdose, dose, dose. Microdose, microdose, dose, dose. Microdose, microdose, dose, dose. What gets this next? Go and take a guess. No matter who it is, every episode's the best. Every episode's the best. Every episode's the best. If you disagree, you're crazy, simple as chess. Microdose, 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 yeah, microdose.
Well, with egg on my face, what's good, y'all? Kush Hayes here. Disappointingly walking into the microdose on our second take. This is the first time we were attempting to record it. Thankfully to my timer here, we only went about 4 minutes in before Robin said, oh, Miss Robin, if you're nasty, had alerted me. Did we hit the record button? No, Robin, we did not. But thankfully, what's good? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. It's according to my little weather meter thing here, it says it's currently 101 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my goodness.
Here in beautiful Sacramento, where it is also overcast and muggy and
also
smoky.
Overcast. That sucks.
Yes. Well, I think it's overcast because it's smoky. Something nearby is on fire, and I haven't bothered to look up what or where, but you know, 'tis the season.
Aye. Well, I am thankfully not on fire. Nowhere I've been recently.
He's not on fire. He avoided burning.
I did avoid burning. We had just gone through a whole soliloquy about my experience with the National Hot Rod Association this week. As I also mentioned, I go into much wider detail on the Waffle Box podcast. So again, go there if you want to hear more. But just to bring Robin up to speed. Yeah, I managed to avoid getting sunburned, which was the hardest part of my 5 days there. And again, I was happy to have 5 days, whereas normally, best case scenario, you get 3. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole rap again there. Robin,
Oh.
you got
I did check out the part of that waffle box earlier today.
Which
And,
one did you see? There are now 10 of them.
Remembered that you had. Yeah. So it was the most recent one, I guess, that you guys had done, because you were just talking about that experience, and it sounded like a good time.
Was I wearing a Giants
overall.
hat?
Maybe. I was also working
Fair
from
enough.
home.
Fair enough. I was dressed head to toe in San Francisco Giants gear. Like, I had the hat, and I had my parka going. The Giants are currently facing the Dodgers. I think as of today, Friday, they're in their 3rd game, I want to say. I might be wrong with that. However, when we recorded the Waffle Box, the Giants beat the Dodgers, and that was a good day too. So, yeah, go Giants. They currently have the best record in not just the National League, Robin, but all of Major League Baseball. The whole Major League Baseball cinematic universe, Robin.
Wow.
However, the Dodgers, formidable adversaries, our lifelong blood rivals. They're always on our heels, and they're the defending champs this year, Robin. So we gotta make every win count.
Well, I get it.
I know you get it. Let's see. You got some new news, Robin. There's a new employment opportunity for you.
Yeah, so I've been temping at this local nonprofit for the last 3 months, and they've decided to bring me on as a permanent employee. So that's exciting for me. I'll get paid a little bit more. I'll get a little bit better benefits, and I won't have to kind of worry about having to start from scratch again in another 2 months, like you do as a temp sometimes.
Right, I get it. The man who works freelance gets it.
It seemed to fare pretty well for me prior. Yeah, it seemed to fare pretty well for me prior to we're gonna really give you this job because a lot of the other people in the same finance department were temp to hire before me, so they seem to put a lot of time into training me, and it appears to be, if you can do your job competently and confidentially, you'll probably get on board. And I mean, we all seem to get along pretty well. They're all pretty easygoing people for the most part. So
excellent.
And I've worked in some pretty goofy places, so it's nice to be somewhere where most of the people at least kind of have the common goal of the whole thing, which is to help the public and all that nice stuff. Since they're not looking to make profit, but they do qualify for a lot of government grants and money and stuff like that because of the kind of services they provide.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really not spending a lot of money sending out flyers and begging for money either. So it seems like the main focus in their bottom line is to move money as efficiently and as quickly as possible into the programs to directly service the people who need help.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of fulfilling. It's very fulfilling, and it's nice to be somewhere where I don't have to kind of watch my back, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's any less stress is a good thing. For the longest time, I could never adapt and find a purpose within the organization. Like just showing up at a job for the sake of having a job was never a good plan. And a lot of the times when I worked for the city, even the people that did recognize the purpose, you're there to help the taxpayer through a thing, through X. It's a lot of the time they weren't helping the taxpayer, or they were just being pulled in too many directions, or they were just nothing but a cog in the machine, and that's, or they were there because they had to support their kids, or like no one in that office grew up as a child and said like, I want to file business permits. It wasn't anything like that. Ironically, I would finally have like a minimum wage job working for Crunch Fitness, and the purpose would be just like get these people through their billing issues. That was my thing. But before I got that role, and then after I completed that objective, it would go back to just hand out towels. But like that was the first time like I saw fantastic work ethics, or just enthusiasm to like people enjoyed their job there. And that at first I didn't understand. I was like, why the assistant manager would be working 60 hours for a job that was only paying him for 40 hours, and he's coming in at 2 a.m. and stocking the shelves and all that. I'm like, what? Why do you do this, man? That's ridiculous. And he's just like, I like the people I work with, and I like our customers, and I like seeing our customers get through these certain objectives. But in order to do that, like that requires stocking the shelves at 2 a.m. alone. And it's just like, wow. So that's where I started developing just a good work attitude, and I try to carry it on from there. But sometimes it's hard, Nothing like that in your office though, where people just is there one person who just dreads being there?
It seems like I'm probably the one that lives closest to the actual office building, and it seems like a lot of people are still working from home for the majority of the week, 3 to 4 days a week still. So I haven't really gotten to experience a whole lot of actual face-to-face interaction with people where I get to really see their personalities outside of emails.
Okay.
There are
That's
some
fair.
people who have some really interesting personalities. They seem to be really into the things that they do, and they seem to be pretty proud and just proud of the work they do, and just try to make sure everything's above the board,
There you go.
because we do get audited, I think, biannually. So, and it's just, because so much of the money that comes through is other people's money, basically. So they want to make sure that it's all going appropriately where it needs to be going and where we said it went. So there have been some times where it seems like some people are just a little bit too enthusiastic about the whole thing because of one reason or another. Get emails in my inbox when I get there at 8 in the morning and see that I have an email that was sent at like 5:30 a.m. from my boss, who doesn't show up to the office until 8:30. So there's some very enthusiastic people there, but not to the extent that it's irritating, at least.
Okay. It's the email server isn't. Is it possible the email server is on East Coast time? Because that's happened to me before. Where it registered like 5:30 a.m., but no, it happened in real time.
Well, one of my other coworkers called him out on it one day because we back in the office more days a week now. And so she says, "Why did I get an email from you at like 4 a.m.?" He goes, "I can't sleep, so I opened my computer."
Okay.
Fair enough.
Robin, did you ever grow up with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe? Or I think you're like a decade younger than me, so I would not be surprised if you're like, eh.
I am technically too young to remember He-Man and She-Ra and all that, But because I have siblings who are older than me by about a decade each, give or take a couple years on either one,
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a lot of their old like toys from
Oh,
that
neat.
era. So I had the He-Man doll, I had She-Ra's that I played with, and they had Betamax tapes. My parents had a Betamax player,
Betamax tapes.
and they had recorded cartoons off the television onto Betamax tapes. And
Okay.
in the early '90s, when I was growing up, I remember watching those. So I have some weird outsider cultural experience with that whole era of cartoons,
Okay.
where nobody else I was friends with at that time really knew what the hell that was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like your siblings, I was all about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Like we had VHS, so I had VHS tapes filled with He-Man episodes. Okay, I stuffed as many as I could on, and I even go as far as to like try and if you're recording and you push pause, you could skip commercials, but then you got to hit the pause button again to restart the recording when the commercial's over. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes you only get 3/4 of an episode of He-Man. But I had as many of the toys. I used to have Castle Grayskull. Like, I was all about that first generation of He-Man. And it seemed like when you're that young, it feels like it goes on forever. But in hindsight, it was like 2 years and it was done. Or, the live action movie came out, and then maybe a year later, no one was fucking with He-Man anymore. Like G.I. Joe had gotten a bigger presence. Transformers were huge, and the new thing also. And then they tried to renew He-Man, like in the early 90s. They were like, the new Adventures of He-Man. And I was like, all right, I'm ready for the new Adventures of He-Man. And I understood, he might have a different look, but it's just, he didn't have the ridiculous, he had a more realistic body proportions. And I was like, well, that's not exciting. And then he had some, he had some long ass hair, but not like Conan long. Like he had a ponytail, and I was like, well, I don't know how I feel about that. And then the sword just looked different, and I was like, well, fuck that noise. And then I just didn't come back, and it was fine, and life went on, and things were okay, and we discovered girls, and we experimented with drugs, and it was fine. And then in the early 2000s, they redid Masters of the Universe and had more of a Japanese anime feel to it. It was a little more serious in tone. And I caught a couple episodes of that, and I was like, yeah, this is right on. This is dope. But you know what? I was also just kind of out of that window. Like, I like adult cartoons, but nothing was driving me to check out the new adventures of He-Man. And you know what? It was okay. And life went on. And we had to pay rent. And we had real problems. And things were just crazy. Oh, we were dealing with like our own mortalities. Are you picking up what I'm putting down, Robin?
Right. You had real problems that humans have as they age and grow up.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Smith, world's biggest man, baby. We like to make fun of him, but he actually, they gave him the newest edition of He-Man, and he was like, well, let's try and take some of that 2000s attitude, and let's take some of that early 80s influence, and let's try and do a mash together. And it's hard to tell who this new series on Netflix is for. Like it could be for people my age, but I think it also could be for a new audience entirely that's just not familiar with any of those He-Mans that I just talked about. We didn't even get into She-Ra. Jesus Christ.
Well, they got the lesbian She-Ra not that long ago. The cartoon.
I think that's a Netflix thing also.
Yeah.
I didn't check that because I was just like, well, I don't really like how it looks. I don't care. Oh, is that what they're doing? Good for them.
I don't care.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Whatever.
Life goes on.
Good for you. Good for you. My life is unchanged.
My life is unchanged. Gordon Couch. They dropped the new Masters of the Universe series. It's not He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's not the New Adventures of He-Man. It's not He-Man. It's Masters of the Universe. And I thought they did something interesting where they only went with 5 episodes. Not 10, definitely not 20. Like they just went like, let's try and tell this story. And again, like I said at the top of the episode, I had a lot of work. So checking out Netflix when you have like a 6 a.m. call time is just, it ain't happening.
No.
So I heard a lot of negative shit about it. In fact, I even heard the spoiler going into it.
Oh.
I was just like, yeah, I don't care. Cool. It sounds like they're trying to do a different thing. And again, I wasn't familiar with the title. It's He-Man. Everyone just calls it He-Man for short. It's like, you don't go to the movie theater and say, give me one for Die Another Day or whatever the newest movie is called. You say 007. Give me one for James Bond. That's what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at first thinking like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe has almost no He-Man. I went, you know what? It's a legitimate complaint. But that's not even right. It's just Masters of the Universe. It's still that universe. It's a whole new thing. Yes, He-Man is not in much of these 5 episodes.
That's kind of lame.
You would think so, but they do stuff with the other characters. They give
Well, I mean,
depth.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine if you want to do that kind of character development, but I don't. I guess I don't think it was fair of them to market it as like a He-Man thing. I feel like maybe they should have been more upfront with that. It's like an exploration of that like universe of characters, which I do think would, possibly have some interesting stories to tell. But it's kind of more of like a Mandalorian type thing where it's like, here's these other characters' stories. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. But to tack on that, that's Star Wars still. That's Star Wars, The Mandalorian. This is Masters of the Universe Revelations, Resurgence, Rebel One, Rogue Ones, Masters of the Universe Rogue One.
Hey.
It's not necessarily about He-Man, but it still is. But we're actually putting in time into these other characters, which I gotta say, they did a damn good job with the story. Overall, I liked the 5 story episode series. I don't know why they didn't just make it a 2-hour movie. There's like real life consequences in this. Main characters get taken out. It's not anything cheap like the original Transformers animated movie, but it still carries that same weight. Like, we don't just murk Ironhide in the first 2 minutes. You spend a little time with Ironhide and you get to know him and like, oh, this is what he's been doing since we last caught up with him in the 80s. And then oh my God, knives and swords.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I was impressed with what they did with it. That the very first episode and the 5th episode are the best ones. They take that old school box art from the 80s. I don't know if you've ever seen the packaging from those days, but it's paintings, right? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. They take that and they give you a little recap of what's happened since, if this is the first time tuning in. But they did a good job distributing the nostalgia without leaning on it. Like, they didn't have to. I don't think they needed to. He-Man is He-Man, but they did a good job sprinkling it around. You're like, oh shit, it's Stinkor. Oh snap, son, Merman's in this? What? They Scareglow. Do you know Scareglow? Scareglow is a unique character, Robin Seto.
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
Scareglow was a Halloween character. I mean, that's just point blank. He was never in the cartoon originally, but he's the captor of hell. Okay, like our character's journey to hell and to heaven. It's a real hero's journey type fantasy shit. You know, this is all the magic in the universe, Robin, is depleting because
Oh
this
no.
super critical incident that happened in the first episode. And yeah, again, they did a good job. If they don't do another 5 episodes, well done, Kevin Smith. I applaud you, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, good job. Don't cry about it then. Gosh.
It's right we make fun of him for crying. It's
It's okay
yeah,
to cry, but you don't have to
it's
take uncomfortable close-up photos of yourself and then post them to Twitter with really cringy captions. Like, it's
that
okay
is
to have
true.
feelings, but you don't have to broadcast them. You have a choice, and you can choose not to, Kevin Smith.
It would be great if he literally just ran out of natural tears and has to like go to the lengths of just poking himself in the eye before he takes that photo, and it's like click 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 click.
I must cry. I must
I
cry.
must cry. The someone did a fan trailer for Buffy, and I gotta react to it.
Buffy.
Buffy the Vampire
Buffy.
Slayer.
Did
I'm sure
they?
that's due to make a comeback if it hasn't already.
Oh, I wouldn't cry about it, but he would. He just loves old TV when it comes back. Oh my god, I can't believe it came back. You could literally make it come back, Kevin Smith. You have that kind of power. You just did it with He-Man. God, stop
Yeah.
crying so much.
Well, he's had a lot of life changes since that heart attack, so I'll give him that much. There's those things change you. I'm currently on the outside in dealing with that right now. Like it'll have been almost a year. We're coming up on a year since my mom's heart attack, and things ain't been the same. So yeah, it's literally night and day. But so yeah, I have to imagine that's what's going on with him. But you know what? Get a control of that shit, Kevin Smith.
What's going on with
You
your little brush there?
oh yeah. Red sage. Look at it. So this is the paintbrush. This is the paintbrush, folks. I've been growing facial hair for the last 499 days. Yes, it will be the day this drops. It'll be 499 days since we locked up in San Francisco on St. Patrick's Day 2020. That's March 17th for those keeping track. So anyway, yeah, been growing my beard out. No real purpose, but it's getting wild to the point where like, so I decided to just tie it up casually, and Robin called me out on it. So now I got my King Tut thing going on here.
I was just about to say, you look very like regal Egyptian.
King Kush.
I'm
I'm not ready to be king. I'm actually a judge though now, Robin. You may call me the
Judge
Honorable
Kush.
Kush Hage.
Oh.
Kush Hage. Yeah.
The Honorable Kush Hage.
Iron Dragon TV, Janelle Smith, friend of the family, previous guest of the Microdose. She's reached out to us and asked me personally to be a celebrity judge in Action Fest 2021 this year. That's going to be August 14th. That's a Saturday, I believe, and we will have more information on that as we come. But yeah, it's right around the corner.
That's exciting.
Should be a great time. It's right up my alley. Martial art films.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's going to be wild. They're doing it online this year, so I wish I could tell you how to get passes, but I will have that information most likely next week.
Just have to keep tuning in.
You'll have to keep tuning in or go to idtvactionfest.com for more information, or Google it. Guys, you're adults. I don't have to give you the exact street corner. Just Google it. All right. You go into that one club on the corner. All right, it's there. Google will tell you. Google's your friend.
Wah, wah.
Oh, so anyway, yeah. Red sage is the beard here.
There you go.
Now, yeah. When it's 2 levels like that, look,
it's very pointy.
I should be able to like cleanse a room if I burn the end of
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
This makes great visual for an audio podcast.
Need some crystals. Need some amethyst.
I need some pants made out of hemp and some puka beads. Yeah, puka shell beads.
That that all goes with that aesthetic of
Oh my god.
of that the rest of that hippie beard thing going on.
Yeah.
But
Well, so this thing's out of control. Like I need the handlebars to get longer because they're just I can't do anything. I can't brush them yet. They're not long enough. They're just like you can't see them on the screen, but like they're just poofed out. It's if I grew out the hair on the sides of my head with the sunglasses, I might look like Dr. Eggman or Dr. Robotnik from Sonic the Hedgehog.
especially with your little round dark glasses.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what
yeah, wait, well, October 31st isn't that far away.
Halloween is right around the corner as well. It's a little bit more than a corner for anyway, we're babbling here. I think this is a good spot for us to stop. Unless you want to talk about anything else, kid. Is there anything else on your mind?
Nothing rolling around. Just my crazy life being crazy.
Okay. Well, to recap, everybody, Robin got a dope-ass new job. I have been working more and was actually working with people who want to do what they were doing. And that's always a nice surprise. Masters of the Universe, surprisingly good if you like expansion, but there's no reason for you to, if you're upset about it, you actually have no problems. Congratulations. And also, I've grown a ridiculous beard, and I will be a judge in an upcoming film festival. So that's actually going to be... Why don't I have that written down? That's ridiculous. Like I said, Iron Dragon TV, IDTV, edit. Robinson, you do stuff around here. What do you do?
Around here, I do a little thing called Polite Beer Expressions. It's a weekly craft beer review. A little quick to read articles on various beers. Everything from, it's all craft. So craft to craft. If you like craft, you'll probably find something in my back catalog that you like, or that maybe you haven't heard about. Taking a little vacation from it. It's gonna come to an end here. It was coming out on Wednesdays, but I think we'll probably move it. We could talk about that later, but those will be coming back. So keep an eye out for those. Those go up on the BosNet.family.
2 days ago, July 28th, Jameel Hemphill, Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer Jameel Hemphill, and myself, the Honorable Kush has dropped Sweet Science Cinema #4, where we invited Master Len Kabaczynski from the Kick-Ass Movie Podcast and Killer Wolf Films to come in and talk Walter Hill's 2002 Undisputed, Ving Rhames versus Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes versus Ving Rhames, the immovable object versus the irresistible force. That happened July 28th and is available now. This Friday, August 6th, check out twitch.tv/barelyfunctionalgamers. As you can tell, friends of the family, the Barely Functional Gamers, and the guys from the Overlook Hour, the Overlook Theater, and the Unnamed Footage Festival. We're going to have Kush Hayes' 22nd celebration of his 21st birthday. That's Friday, August 6th, 7:30 p.m., 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's on Twitch TV, again, /barelyfunctionalgamers. And then for more information, idtvactionfest.com for more about Action Fest 2021. I've been Kush Hayes.
I've been Robin.
You've been
Microdose, 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 yeah, microdose.
From the BosNet family.
Hey, you know how you're awesome? Well, why don't you continue being awesome by checking out my podcast, Waffle Box? Because why the fuck not? I don't know what I'm doing with that hammer. It's crazy.